we're talking about conflicts of interest between brokers and their clients that can sometimes cause brokers to behave in ways that aren't in the interest of the client. And so the next one we're going to talk about is what we call indications and filling out the spreadsheet. When we talk about indications, what we're talking about are indications of pricing in a proposal that is given to a client. So the broker might show up and have 2 or 3 quotes and then have a couple of indications of pricing from other insurance companies, meaning the insurance company didn't go all the way through the quote process and get to the finish line and actually release a hard quote, but they gave an indication of what they thought their pricing would be if they had done so. There can be very legitimate reasons for indications and very artificial reasons that work against the interests of the client. So a broker might end up with a very good quote. Say a broker received a quote of $80,000 from one insurance company, and they felt that, boy, that looks really good. I don't think anybody's going to beat it. And so rather than have another underwriter go through all the work of coming up with a really high quote, the broker might call that underwriter and say, look, you're not going to be below, say, $70,000, are you? And the underwriter can quickly look at their own pricing models. They can look at the file for the account, the applications, and they can come back to the broker and say, you know what, we wouldn't be anywhere near $70,000 and we'd be way above that. And so that's a legitimate indication that serves the interests of the client and the interests of the broker in protecting his underwriter relationships. That underwriter hasn't done a lot of work for no reason. However, he goes, there are times when the broker actually will manufacture a quote, will come up with an indication which everyone knows is simply, and this is a common term in the insurance world, simply filling out the spreadsheet. So this often happens when there's no competition, when the broker doesn't have any other brokers competing with that broker for that particular account. And so what the broker will do, the broker will end up with a quote, typically from the current insurance company, because when there's no competition from other brokers, there's strong incentive for that broker to renew the coverage with the existing insurance company and also not drive the pricing down too far. There's certainly going to be pressure from the underwriter on both of those areas. And so the broker has strong pressure when there's no competition to renew things at a somewhat higher price. So what the broker will do once they receive a quote, let's say they receive a quote at $80,000. What they will do is they will call other underwriters and they will say, look, and often the underwriter can tell just by the way the question is asked and the tone in which it's asked. The broker might say to the underwriter, gee, you're not going to be below, say, $110,000 on this account, are you? And the underwriter, knowing full well that what the broker is doing is simply filling out the spreadsheet, will simply say, without even looking at the file, no, I would be way higher than $110,000. That serves the broker's purposes in presenting to the client the fact that, wow, the broker did a great job because I have a quote at $80,000 and look, this closest indication was at $110,000 plus. And so it makes the client feel that, wow, they really negotiated a great deal by comparison. But in reality, the underwriter who never really gave an indication, who simply went along with the broker in filling out the spreadsheet, knew exactly what he or she was doing, and the broker knew exactly what they were doing. They were protecting their relationship with the underwriter, more really serving the interests of the client and then trying to see if, in fact, it might be possible for every underwriter to come in with a better quote. Pretty difficult for clients to tell the difference between an indication that's legitimate, one that's artificial. A client could ask the broker if it is a real quote and if they have anything in writing from the underwriter to back that up. Several years ago, Elliot Spitzer, the former Attorney General for New York, went after a particular brokerage firm for just this issue, for manufacturing artificial quotes. And in no way, shape, or form do we believe that was the only brokerage firm at the time manufacturing artificial quotes. In fact, we think it was very, very common with lots and lots of brokerage firms back then, and we think it's very common today. So it's a tough area for clients to deal with, but it's a definite conflict of interest.